What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Jared News Network. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Make sure you're sharing the video. Make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you're visiting our website, which is now up and running, jarednewsnetwork.us. You see it on the screen. Make sure you are following us on Twitter. Make sure you're supporting Black-owned media, y'all, because it seems like, especially nowadays, all of these major mainstream news networks, every story that comes out about Black folks is negative. So what we have to do is prop up Black-owned media companies so that we can actually compete with the Reuters, the Fox News, the MSNBCs, the APs, the Bloomberg Newses, and all that. You know what I mean? So it's up to us not to complain about what they are, talking about on their networks, but it's up to us to now elevate those who are reporting from our perspective in an unbiased way. All right, y'all. So let me start off talking about Kenny Zhu. Hope I'm pronouncing that right, but if I'm not, it is what it is. I wanted to share with you guys a tweet that he put out, which is targeting us. Nothing new. He says, let me list all the problems that Black Americans face that is shared by people of no other race. Okay, list over. Yes, it is true. If a Black person has a problem, an Asian or white person has the same problem somewhere in America. There is nothing special about your race. Those are his words. There's nothing special about your race. So tell me this. This guy is the president of an organization called Color Us United, which I'm about to put on the screen for you guys so that you guys can see what his organization is supposed to stand for. And then remember this tweet that you see on the screen right here, because I want to show y'all something. We will not be divided. Look at the last part of this tweet. There's nothing special about your race. Why are you attacking Black Americans for someone who's supposed to be part of this united organization, right? You're for a united America. That's what your website says. Hold on, let me make this a little bigger so y'all can read it, so y'all don't think I'm lying here, whatever. Color Us United is an organization created to speak out against those who want to divide America. Our primary purpose is to give voice to you and millions of others who are upset by government, corporate, and media claims that America is a hateful country. Really? That's interesting, Kenny Zhu, because it seems to me, and I'm gonna get into this a little bit later, but it seems to me that it is hateful when it comes to Asian Americans, is it not? I mean, were you guys not just fighting for an anti-Asian bill that Joe Biden signed? So which is it? Is it hateful at times, or is it only hateful when it's directed towards you? Very interesting coming from someone who's the president of an organization which purports to be about being unified as a nation. So we're unified, but you feel free to attack one group and say there's nothing special about us, because I didn't see you say there's nothing special about Mexicans. Didn't see you say there's nothing special about Arabs. Didn't see you say there's nothing special about white folks or Indian folks. I didn't see any of that. I only saw Black Americans. That's really interesting, Kenny Zhu. So we're gonna come back to that. We gotta talk about a couple of more stories involving this. So just one more. We're gonna get to the Mayor Eric Adams thing, but I'm gonna get to that in one moment. I want to just skip real quick to Charles Barkley, because normally when I mention Barkley, it's completely negative. And well, I mean, it is what it is. It's still kind of negative, but I saw Dr. Umar share this story, and I just wanted to talk about it real quick because Charles Barkley has pledged to donate $1 million each to ALS research in Alabama, Bethune-Cookman, and Jackson State. So some people will look at this and say, wow, that's really generous of you, Charles. But understand this, guys. When money is donated, right, it's up to the administration on how to use that money. At least that's my understanding of it. So we don't know where this money is going to. We don't know much of anything. We just know that he's donating it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand. First of all, this announcement was made after Deion decided to leave for Colorado. Of course, that's not a coincidence, because Charles Barkley understood when the whole Kyrie thing happened, him and Shaq and others were getting blasted all over social media. They were called everything but a child of God. So he saw that, and now I believe he's trying to save face here. You feel me? He's trying to save face. And it's unfortunate because people cannot see past what people are doing. They just look on the surface and say, oh, okay, that's great. Dr. Umar shared that. So I'm not entirely sure his intention here. We know where he stands with Deion Sanders based on his interview with the Breakfast Club. He thinks that Deion should have stayed. I'm not getting into Deion, not today, but here's the point. Just because someone donates money to a university, that does not mean it's going to be used for what you think it's going to be used for. Number one, make sure you guys research. When you guys hear HBCU, we always, because it's historically black colleges and universities, we always think, okay, this is going to benefit black folks. What you need to do is research the percentage of students which are actually black. That's what you need to do, because it's very easy to just take a story, run with it, and say, oh, this is great. You know, you come to a conclusion with incomplete information. That's dangerous. So we understand that non-black folks, in terms of admissions, their admissions are going up to HBCUs. So it's not what it used to be. You know, it's not like now HBCUs are 95% black. They're not. So for those of y'all thinking, oh, see, well, Charles Barkley, y'all keep calling him a coon, y'all keep calling him Uncle Tom. We told you he's not, because he donated $1 million to Jackson State University. How does that change anything, y'all? It doesn't change anything. I suspect the majority of you who are standing up and clapping and patting Charles on his back are also Joe Biden supporters. Just saying. Moving on to Mayor Eric Adams. All right, let me share his tweet. And it really shouldn't surprise anybody, but I'm going to share it to you guys. For those of y'all in the New York City area anyway, it's not going to surprise you, but I want to share it. Here it is. There's no place in this city, let's see if I can make this a little bigger. There's no place in this city for racism against our Asian community, and there's especially no place for it in this city hall. Now, some of y'all might be wondering, what is he talking about? And as I've said every time now, probably for the past year or so, or you could probably go back to when COVID, at the height of the pandemic, there was a lot of, anti-Asian stories being put out, or at least alleging that a lot of behavior was being directed, hostile behavior being directed towards Asians. And that is what that is. I'm not getting into that. I'm just saying I find it very interesting that there are plenty of stories about black folks being mistreated, but somehow the mayor doesn't comment on that. Just food for thought, y'all. But I want to share with you guys the clip that he's referring to, what prompted his comments. I wasn't gonna do this, so I don't have like the clip ready for you guys, so give me a second, y'all, but I'm gonna play it and make sure it's loud enough for you guys to hear it. And you guys tell me where the lie is in what he is saying, all right? Here we go.
This is not about felonies. It's about race. It's about black people. You see them Asian people that I just was talking? I live in Rico Park now. That is the racistest neighborhood I've ever been in. And there's nothing but Asians in there. If you go in the store, they will follow you around like you getting ready to steal something. So that garbage that they was talking up here, because that's all it was garbage. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't want black people to live in black people's neighborhood. Because it's not their neighborhood. Because they from China, Hong Kong. We from New York. This bill has got to be...
All right, so listen, man. He doesn't have to use perfect grammar. I can see some of y'all right now saying something about how he's talking. Whatever. We understand what he's saying. You know what I mean? Like, this is our home. And look, he's 100% right. This is our home. We don't have another place we can call home as such. You feel me? So I understand what he was saying there. I also understand those of y'all in the New York City area, you know what he's talking about in terms of being followed around in stores. That's nothing new. I will say this, though, and it's 100% true. It's 100% true. If you went in the store that was owned by an Asian person, expect that you're going to be looked at through the mirrors. You're going to be followed. The cameras are going to be following you. That is what it is. That's a fact. I don't care what any of y'all say. Y'all want to call me anti-Asian, y'all can do that. You feel me? But it doesn't change the fact. I will say this. The same goes for a store that might be owned by Indian folks. The same goes for a store that might be owned by Arabs. Will be followed around there too. The same goes for stores that are owned by Africans. So that doesn't make us anti-African, doesn't make us anti-Indian, doesn't make us anti-anything, Mexican, whatever else have you. It just is what it is. We get followed around in the stores. So that's anti-black hate. Why are we not speaking out on that? It's no different really when you think about it than what Kyrie was talking about when the reporters were attacking him saying, oh, well, this is anti-Semitic. And Kyrie said, where were you at when my people were being mistreated for 400 years? Like, how come you didn't say anything about that? And crickets. nobody wants to say anything because when it comes to our mistreatment, you guys go over there, handle it. It's unfortunate, but guess what? Everybody goes through this. So now when something that you guys think is anti-Asian, everybody yells about it, or anti-Semitic, everybody yells about it. But anti-black, all right, yeah, well, then we all deal with it. So what? You guys get over it. Stop whining. Stop being a victim. That's what y'all tell us, right? So why the hypocrisy here? That's the problem. You know what I mean? So, all right, let me go on. I just wanted to share with you guys. Mayor Eric Adams, he's doing what he has to do for his political ambitions going forward. That's all I'm going to say on that. We know what it is. And, you know, truth be told, a lot of other black politicians will be lining up to do the same exact thing Mayor Eric Adams just did. So that's something that we have to do in terms of making people pay a hefty price for doing what Mayor Eric Adams is doing and other politicians are doing as well. Moving on to Dr. Umar. I'm not going to share any clips about this, but you know, Dr. Umar was on the Breakfast Club and he was talking about reparations and everything else Dr. Umar talked about in his hour or so interview with the Breakfast Club. I get on board with. I'll tell you, Dr. Umar, man, when it comes to being someone who is a great orator and someone who obviously has a vast amount of knowledge on our history and just genuinely just a really intelligent individual. Everything else I'm on board with. When it comes to reparations, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And it's got to be deliberate. Let's just be honest. You feel me? But when you say, all right, I don't know about being on board with cash reparations because the whole $233,000 number which came out for the California task force, for those of y'all who are paying attention to that, the number that was recommended to the task force was $233,000 per eligible recipient. And Dr. Umar was saying that that's not going to solve our problems. And I beg to differ, Dr. Umar, because everything you talk about that's an issue would actually be helped with money. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to access to capital, that's something that we need. Obviously, $200,000 would help with that. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to unemployment, when it comes to underemployment, when it comes to what we face as far as discrimination, whether it's the legal system, whether it's the education system, you are starting a school. You have the buildings already. You're still waiting on HVAC or something. I think, he might have the HVAC, whatever. He still has some things he has to do before he can actually open the school up. But it seems to me that if you gave folks $200,000 each, I think they would be able to actually donate to you to make your dream come to fruition. So nobody follows up with Dr. Umar when he says this stuff and says, but wait a minute, Dr. Umar, if that's a problem, if us getting that kind of money, which is actually on the low end in terms of what we're owed, but if getting that is a problem, what is the solution, Dr. Umar? What is it? And I don't think there's one person out here who would say reparations should be cash payments alone. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard one person who has a considerable following say it should be only cash payments. Now, what we have said is that should be the major component. You know what I'm saying? That should be the focal point. And then everything else can come underneath that, whether that's therapy, whether that's assistance with how we handle our finances for free or whatever. Yeah, there's other things you can add on to that, living tax free or whatever. All those other things are in conjunction with the cash payment. It is what it is. And him speaking out against it, I suspect you didn't hear DJ Envy or Charlemagne refute anything or rebut because, well, they agree with Dr. Umar. They think we shouldn't get it, I would assume. You know what I'm saying? So whatever, we can't expect them to have an honest conversation on reparations because we understand the powers that be, the people who actually run the Breakfast Club, don't want us having those kind of conversations. So hopefully we can get Dr. Umar on a platform that's not compromised and have a real conversation, because that's what needs to be had. What is his view on what should reparations really look like? You know what I'm saying? If it's just land, I don't have time to get into that right now, but that's ridiculous. To the argument that we should just get land because that's what was stolen from us, that's just, there's a lot of ignorant people out there willing to speak with a camera in their face who have no clue what they're talking about. So that is what it is. Now, moving on to someone else who doesn't have a clue what they're talking about, the comedian Godfrey. He decided to open up his mouth about someone who was asking a question to Senator Warnock about reparations. So shout out to our brother Marcel for sharing this. Brother Marcel is running for the 6th district in South Carolina in 2024. Make sure you guys are supporting him, and you will see a spot on my website where you guys can click on and support him. So That's a brother who has supported me, and I appreciate that, so I'm definitely returning the favor. That's how we do in our community when we're on code with each other. Now, let me share this clip. You guys, and you be the judge.
And he was like, he kind of ignored it. But I didn't judge him from that because it was the wrong time for that. And he was answering other questions, and he's like, what about reparations, man? Like, what the fuck is he gonna do about it?
You don't do that
like,
in
Georgia.
Georgia.
You don't do that when I'm...
Hold on. It's a short clip. I swear I was gonna let it all play, but what is he gonna do about reparations? Do you not know how politics works? You see what I'm saying about people who are speaking and have no clue what they're talking about? You're asking, what does a senator have to do with reparations? You do understand that it's going to take the federal government getting involved to pay us what's owed, right, Godfrey? Tell me you know how the government functions before speaking to someone as if you do know anything.
Walking on
Well,
the
you don't
bus.
do that in Georgia.
Right.
For the senator.
Right.
Like,
And it was a
not-
black reporter that said, so, I'm not even trying to disturb you or nothing, man. What you gonna do about reparations and black people getting paid and shit? And what's gonna happen with that? Please tell me, please answer, because I'm gonna call you a sellout.
Let me say this real quick, just about what he just said. That is making fun of our people. Some of y'all won't pick up on that. Some of y'all think he's just making fun of that particular person who posed the question. But I submit to you that the way he said it was kind of dismissive. Let me play that back. Let me play it back. Hold on. Because I want to see, maybe I'm missing something here. Hold on.
Disturb you or nothing, man. What you gonna do about reparations and black people getting paid and shit? And what's gonna happen with that?
Now, some of y'all might think he's just trying to be funny because he's a comedian. There's nothing funny about the reparations topic. I know some of y'all say, all right, if you're a comedian, nothing's off limits. No. Reparations is off limits, especially when you look to our people to support you. So when you call yourself making fun of someone who's asking for what's owed to our people, understanding what's transpired from a historic perspective, this is something you just should not be doing. Again, there's a time where some of y'all just need to shut the hell up.
Please tell me, please answer, because I'm gonna call you a sellout. He was like, anyway, guys, thank you. I appreciate it. But I didn't get mad at him for that, because I was like, dude, you put him on the spot. Don't fucking do that. You could have been on the side, go, yo, man, what you must...
No. We not being on the side or private about anything. Nothing, Godfrey. So if something needs to be asked about our people and making us whole and compensation that's owed to us, we're gonna call you out in public. You know what I'm saying? See, some of y'all haven't gotten the memo yet. The way things used to be, it's not gonna be that way anymore. And some of y'all are just really not reading the room. And I guess Godfrey, I don't know. I don't know enough about Godfrey to speak on him and where he's coming at from this. I know this isn't his first time putting on the tap dancing shoes, so not surprised with him. It's more along the whole Stephen A. Smith, Jason Whitlock, Sheriff Clark, Candace Owens. We have so many of these folks who will leap at the opportunity to throw dirt on us, to throw us under the bus. They will, and they have no problem doing it. And some of y'all keep supporting them, so y'all are the problem. I don't even get mad at Godfrey no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't get mad at Stephen A. Smith no more. I get mad at those of y'all who are turning on Inside the NBA. I get mad at those of y'all who are turning on First Take. I get mad at those of y'all who are supporting organizations like what Kenny Zoo is the president of. Those of y'all who send in checks to donate to people like that, you are the problem. You know what I'm saying? You people continue to elevate these other folks, and we've got to stop. It's got to stop, y'all. Flat out. So shout out to Brother Marcel for sharing this, because we have to continue to put people like that on Front Street. If people like this are going to be bold enough to be dismissive about us, to have jokes about us, demanding what is owed to us as we should be doing, then, y'all know what we should be doing. Y'all know what should come after that. Is whether or not y'all have the guts to do it, though. That's another topic altogether. So, finally, I wanted to end with this, because this gentleman here who had on a Trump t-shirt is making a point that I made for quite some time. The sign reads, 3.6 million black kids in poverty. Why do Democrats choose illegal aliens first? I'm gonna let that stay on the screen for a little bit, because that's a very good question. When you think about how we have supported the Democratic Party, when you think about all we've done for them and continue to do for them, despite them doing a whole bunch of nothing for us. When you think about that, you have to ask yourselves a question. Is it ever going to change? A lot of black folks, I can recall, I vividly remember folks talking about how Donald Trump is a racist. He's a bigot. He wants to put us in shackles. I heard all sorts of stuff. And I had to like kind of do a double take when certain people would make comments like, and Biden was doing what when he had a chance? In terms of legislation, I'm not even talking about sound bites that you could play from Trump when he, said whatever he had to say about black people that was negative. I'm not even talking about, Donald Trump's background as far as his family and what they did in New York. And for those of y'all who don't know what I'm talking about, Google is your friend. So yes, there are documented things that Trump has been involved in, but there are also some really, really, really damning pieces of legislation that Joe Biden has his fingerprints on. So, gotta ask you guys, like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? What are we doing? The sign, let me put that back on the screen real quick. This sign is 100% true. 100% true. And there's proof, man. I just don't have time on this broadcast to get into it. But, man, they are indeed putting immigrants before black folks, despite what we've done for them. And it's about time they pay a price politically for that. And it's also time many of you reconsider your stance on whether or not you would support a Republican or an independent or a Green Party, whatever, any other party other than Democrat. Some of you have been voting Democrat for 30, 40 years with no regrets whatsoever. I don't understand it because I don't know what you've gotten from it. And for those of y'all who think, well, nobody gets anything from politics. We're just supporting so that we don't let a party come in who's going to put shackles on us. I'm telling y'all, some of y'all might think I'm talking crazy right now. No, you would be surprised at some of what people have to say for why they are supporting the Democrats. Just talk to people. And I know it's tough because that's where I'll be getting frustrated. But talk to people and really listen to what they're saying. You let them talk for about a good 3-4 minutes, you'll be like, wow, what is going on with our education system? You know what I'm saying? Like, the man is making a point. He's wearing a Trump shirt, so some of y'all might right away say, okay, he's a racist. Look at the sign he's holding up, though. I'm just saying. Got to rethink some things, y'all. So I want to thank y'all for tuning in. In the coming weeks, y'all, I'm going to be talking about more issues impacting our community. There were some other things I wanted to get into. I'll probably talk about Deion Sanders a bit. On my Jared's Viewpoint channel, I try to get more into things. I try to just let y'all know on this channel what's going on. Jared's Viewpoint, I do, interviews with people. I did an interview with Dr. William Sandy Darity, who is one of the most important folks when it comes to the reparations topic. He's an expert on that. So you might want to check out that interview. I'm definitely going to be having some interviews on my news channel. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do as far as which interviews to put on here, which ones to put on Jared's Viewpoint. So a lot of things will be happening in terms of Jared News Network in the coming weeks. Make sure you guys are keeping it locked. Make sure you guys are telling people about this channel. Got to grow the Jared News Network family, y'all. Got to do it.